Hey guys, what's up? So I've talked a lot about how phalloplasty has improved my quality of life and how much better I feel in my body and things like that. But I want to talk a little bit about how in certain circumstances it can make life a little bit harder or a little bit more complicated. And a lot of those have to do with the medical field, like going to a doctor that you haven't gone to before, pre-phalloplasty. And I think this goes with anyone, like if you're trans, it's always kind of an experience or like an adventure to know like, how is this doctor gonna treat you? Are they trans friendly, or are they gonna ask me weird questions? Or are they gonna know about certain surgeries, hormones, the journey of being trans, that kind of thing. I recently developed a knee issue where I guess it's not necessarily recently. I've had two knee surgeries in the past and my knee's kind of acting up again. So I went to the doctor for that on Tuesday and my doctor ordered me an MRI. So I had that MRI today and I want to tell you a little bit about that experience. When you are registering for your MRI, they ask you a series of questions, one of those being like, do you have any metal in your body? Things like that. They just don't want anything to interfere with the MRI. And I was going through the checklist of things that like I didn't have, like any sort of heart thingy, or you know, all the boxes. I was checking off the boxes and I was checking no. And the other day I sent Dr. Chen an email asking him if I had any metal in my body, because I very, very briefly remembered him saying that I did. So I emailed him just in case, and he told me that yes, I have many surgical clips in my body, but that it shouldn't interfere with the MRI, and that it's a knee MRI is pretty far away from the genital area, so it shouldn't be an issue. So basically I was just like, well, maybe I should just, you know, not check off anything, whatever. Or maybe I'll just talk to the technician when I get in there. And it had a blank that said to list your surgeries and like the date. And so all I wrote was knee surgery because one, I felt like that was the most applicable to this situation, and they didn't really need to know about my genitals. Two, they didn't really need to know about my genitals. And it wasn't until they walked me back there and they started asking me the questions again. They asked you like 3 different times just to be sure. And then finally I was like, maybe I should tell them. And so I said, okay, so I might have some surgical clips in my body. And then they looked at me like, what? And they asked me what for, and I said I had phalloplasty, and my surgeon said that I have surgical clips in my body, but he said it shouldn't be a problem and it like won't interfere with the MRI or anything. And then the lady looked at me and she's like, it's not really an issue of it interfering with the MRI. We just don't want the MRI, like the magnets, to pull the clips out of you. And I was just like, what? Like, holy shit. It's just like, we don't want them to pull on you or like move it around in your body. And that immediately I was like, oh my God, that sounds terrifying. So she kind of asked me more questions, and then she's like, wait, what surgery was this for? And I said, phalloplasty. And she kept asking me like, what? I said, phalloplasty. And she said, can you spell that for me? And so I was like, yeah, sure, Phalloplasty. And she wrote it down, and then she was just like, she was clueless. So she Googled it on her computer right then and there, typed in phalloplasty, hit enter. My video popped up. Apparently, if you Google phalloplasty, my YouTube channel pops up, and I was just like, oh my God, please do not click on that. Luckily, she didn't click, like she just stayed at the very top result and just read whatever Google first spit out. And then she immediately called the radiologist, and he didn't want me to do the MRI without a x-ray of my pelvis first. So I had to kind of wait around, do an x-ray of my pelvis, then he had to read the results and give the okay whether I could have the MRI or not. And so he gave the okay, and the lady asked me if I wanted to see my x-ray. So I said, yeah. And I want to kind of explain to you kind of what I saw, because I found it pretty interesting. So I'm going to bring out my old friend, Squidward. And on the x-ray, these surgical clips, from what I could see, I could be wrong because, I mean, not wrong, but I'm not a radiologist, so I can't really know. I don't know what the clips are for, but I just want to kind of draw out what appeared to be where the clips were located to me. So like, say this part was like my pelvis. I'm not really sure which view it was showing me either, but the clips seemed to like run along my penis, so they were like kind of just like that, like so. And I found that really interesting. I have no idea what they are for. I'm sure they're holding something together, but it's you learn something new every day. The radiologist seems to just think that they are just average, normal surgical clips and shouldn't cause a problem. But if you do feel anything weird or any sort of strange sensation, make sure to squeeze the ball. They give you a ball so that if you need to get out of the tube, MRI, they stick you in a tube. It's kind of claustrophobic. You squeeze that ball and they pull you right out. So I immediately am just like, I just pictured myself just getting a boner from while in the MRI, because the magnets are just gonna pull my dick up. And which, I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, might as well experience it for once in my life, but as long as it didn't pull my dick off, that was a whole nother fear. But so yeah, that's kind of the weird way that being trans or phalloplasty can kind of complicate things, because most of the people in the medical field do not know what phalloplasty is. They do not know how to treat you. And it just kind of makes me a little self-conscious sometimes when people are they just like have absolutely no idea what phalloplasty is, to the point where they have to spell it out and Google it in front of you. And it's not that I felt judged in the moment. I think a lot of it was curiosity, and the technician was just kind of like, oh, I'll have to learn more about this. So it's just kind of like that moment where they're like, oh, there's something different about you, you're trans. Sometimes I would like to just move through life and feeling like I'm no different, and I would just like to blend in and get an MRI of my knee like a normal person. Because it's like you walk into something and you're thinking, sweet, this is like the one time in a long time that I don't have to talk about my penis. Like, I can just get my knee MRI'd, and it's a body part that everybody has always had, and it's a part that I have always had. It's been the same, and nothing has changed. There's not going to be any awkwardness, and I was 100% completely wrong. So, yeah, there's definitely some awkward medical complications there. I think as time goes on, that's going to change a lot, because people are starting to learn more and more about what it means to be trans, and just trans surgeries and trans health in general. But if you are in a small town, definitely be prepared to explain what phalloplasty is. Be prepared to just embrace the awkwardness and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. On that note, I did have an MRI on my knee, and I'm praying that I did not tear my meniscus like I did before. So yeah, if y'all could send me good vibes, that would be great. I do not want another knee surgery. I want my balls to be my last surgery, and I want to be done. I don't need both knee and balls. Well, I need them, but I mean, I don't need the surgeries. But anyways, if you could send good vibes, that would be great. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace out. I'll see you next time.